wasn't paying attention. No, I was just kidding. Oh, Ix. Shoot. Okay. He's from the casino. That's where he's from. All right, here we go. So, again, Robert is a linguistic and has been studying the language and has made it interactive, especially for our young people. I know I've showed my kids those videos. I think a lot of you have over the years, and we're glad that he has agreed to be here. And again, especially everything that he was able to help Lily speak Blackfoot on the world stage. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's give Robert a big round of applause.
Yeah, so a few years ago, well, actually, talking about Lily, Amskaapipikani, my Curly Bear Wagner is the one who gave her name, Pitaki. And she actually found out that she was casted as Molly of the Osage on the day of Molly's birthday in 2019. So she really felt good about that. And I found out that she was cast by Martin Scorsese. And I told her, it's been a tradition in Hollywood to cast Italians as Native Americans. So tell Martin Scorsese to cast me as an Italian. She hasn't yet, but we'll get there. Okay. So nisto Niitsipowahsin onokai katses nomptoto Amskaapipikani. Titaputak dasksini maats tokjop dawesta maats taya miksi esksini maats tokiks mahkeitsi puisa. Nisto nomptitapi mahkaya pi puis. But niksis tokiitsi puis. Nitsi kakiem nahkeitsi puis kinexischuko. Before I go, I'm just going to hop right in and let's see if we can enjoy this small video. Nisto enok imideski. Ahkuni tsi puyo. Nisto enok imideski. Kitik chamati tip any Jeopardy. Okay, let's be your contestants. Okay, Todd, Gidanico.
Hayden.
Hayden. Todd, Gidanico. Brianna. Listo. Keegan. Hayden. What are you name again? Brianna and Keegan. Hi guys. Okay. Nisto imideski. Can you say imideski?
Imideski.
Who's imideski?
You.
Sukapi. Okay. Okay. We have 5 categories. Got animals, foods, numbers, colors, commands. Okay. Kid, how will you choose first?
Animals.
Animals for what? 200. Animals for 200. Imika.
Dog.
Kisto.
Dog.
Dog is correct. Okay, you get to choose again.
Numbers.
For what?
200.
Number is 200. Niokska.
Number 1.
Sa. Iksukapi, Yukskami, 3. Suka. Okay, choose again.
Foods.
Foods for what?
400.
For 400. That's 800 EBT. Okay. Uwa. Uwa.
Ooh, wow. I heard that before. Hold on. Mr. Westwood told us this. Yeah. Ooh, wow.
That's not Mr. Westwolf. Who's Mr. Westwolf?
Sweet Sam.
Oh, Sweet Big Sam. Oh, yeah, I know him.
Wow.
Doo-doo-doo.
Broccoli?
They're all wrong. It's eggs. Eggs. Uwa means what?
Eggs.
Sukapi. Okay. We're going with you in the middle. You choose.
Animals.
Animals for what?
600.
600. Ian.
Buffalo.
Buffalo. Sukapi. If you said bison, we wouldn't take that answer. Okay. Go. Next categories. Go in. Go. Choose.
Color.
For what?
800.
Colors for 800. Otwenatse. Otwenatse. Hit your drum.
No.
Oh, here's a commercial. So, one thing, if your students in your classroom are just off the walls, put a camera on them, and then they just become so shy. It's really interesting. Some of these kids are all these kids are very charismatic. They're loud. But as soon as I start filming with them, they just become timid and shy. So there's some classroom management, I guess. Coco?
Red?
Sad.
Oh wait, no, I got Moxonutsi is red. I said the wrong answer and I didn't want to say everyone.
What color is your shirt?
Yellow.
Sukapi, that's right, but nobody gets credit. Nobody gets that money.
Yeah. Animals 800.
Animals 800.
Horse.
Horse. Yay! Good job. Okay, you get to choose.
Numbers for 1,000.
Numbers for 1,000. Ishkitsika. Hit your drum.
10.
Nope.
No.
That.
Because 6, 7.
7. Yeehaw. It's okay. Yeah, that's okay. See. Oh, yeah. So. Pihso. Kepo. Okay. Ma. Clementine. Tsannestohkomi puus. Tsannestohkomi aaputskena. Tsannestohkomi emita.
Mama.
Kitsikakumen. Kitsikakumen. So that's just a small window into a little bit of the projects we're working. This particular video is 43 minutes long, and then we made it that long because down in Amskaapipikani, our average class time is 45 minutes long. And if we ever have a sub for our Niitsipowahsin class, our subs are encouraged to play this. But we have a few rounds of Jeopardy on here. And then we even teach some animals as well. 1 second.
Nistu enuk matsi kapesa. Matsi kapesa. Matsi kapesa. Matsi kapesa. Nistu enuk matsi kapesa. Ai. am a frog. Matsukapesa.
I don't remember. I don't know if you remember in the '90s, Budweiser had this commercial where they had these frogs and they would go, Bud, Bud, why? Bud, why? Is there right? If you remember that, I'm gonna do a small video of these Matsikapiseks doing that. Matsi, Matsikap, Matsikap, Isa, right? Okay.
Okay. Mr. Enoch Sinopa. 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 I am a fox. Sinopa. Sinopa. Okay. Mr. Enoch Emapete. 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 I am a monkey. Emapete. Ah, emapete. Okay. Mr. Enoch Ponokamita. 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 I am a horse.
This is my favorite one.
Okay. Mr. Enoch Spoopy. Spoopy. I am a turtle. Spoopy. 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 Mr. Enoch Spoopy. I am a turtle. Spoopy.
Yeah, young kids, they just love that and just eat it up. Just what was amazing, as was mentioned during COVID, I was really bored. And Celestine Twig and Rosella Many Bears years back taught me how to sing Jingle Bells, Such Kitane. And also Santa Claus is Coming to Town. And that's the other one. There was another one. I can't think of it right now. And it just stuck with me. And during COVID, I was in my basement and I just kind of downloaded some backing tracks and sang them and then made it into a little puppet video. And we got about 10,000 views on that. It was pretty lovely. And so right now, I guess I'll introduce you to a couple of my friends. Okay. Anesta Emoyiski. Honest is okay. Okay. So sometimes this guy's his other name, I'd say Utayapi Chinchkasim is Old McDonald or now. And we've been singing a song together. So 1 second. So we go. Kena uskshakoi iya iya yo Amo matikapisa itopi. E-I-E-I-O. Guinea. Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. Guinea. Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. Amo, ribbit. Uma, ribbit. Ribbit, 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 ribbit. Kena uskshachkom. E-I-E-I-O. Kena uskshachkom. E-I-E-I-O. Any axini. Itopi. E-I-E-I-O. Guinea. Oink, oink, oink. Guinea. Oink, oink, oink. Uma, oink. Amo, oink. Oink, 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 oink. It's kind of hard to do that right now. Isn't that right, Imoyuski? So he's kind of a man of not many words, but Kate tsi boy. Ni de tsi boy. Kato tista be tsi ni dawani. But yeah, so that's Imoyuski. He's a good guy. So yeah, just recently I reached out to Ma Rosella Many Bears once again, and she helped me translate Old MacDonald and some other songs now too that we don't need to get into. But it's really engaging. Kids are really loving it. And one thing I don't know, again, maybe I could get some feedback from you guys when I do the official recording. Doing, kena uskshachkom, E-I-E-I-O, or do we go kena uskshachkom, heya, eya, hey, I don't know which one to do. But this guy right here is my main man, and this is Imideski. Say, okay. And this guy kind of got me popular in a way. Ain't that right? But what's really fun is like making these voices, because one thing that I really think is important is that it takes my face out of the equation, because I'm very handsome and you might get kind of lost in my eyes when I speak. So we put this guy up here, but sometimes you can't tell us apart. No. But Imideski's been with me for a few years, and I really enjoy him. And the good thing about puppets is it's very engaging. And one thing that I always encourage our students to do is kind of get silly and have fun speaking Blackfoot, because a lot of people view speaking Blackfoot, again, as we've all said and we all know and we all repeat it, it's just the truth. A lot of people get a little timid and a little, they just get scared. But, we're going to persevere. We have to. It's a must. So down in the schools I'm at, I'm trying to collect even more puppets. And who's this? Ini. And who are you? Ini. So just trying to figure out the voices to use. I mean, because again, he kind of looks like he's got a deep voice, right? Ini. Or does he have a very high voice? Ini. I don't know. But it's really fun. Again, I can't emphasize enough how fun it is. Also, too, like I said, it takes myself out of the equation, and people from all ages love puppets. Doesn't matter whether you're 9 years old or 90, the puppets are engaging, and it's really fun. So this guy, I don't know what I've been calling him. I've been calling him Imoyitapi for a while, sometimes Atapoye. And I actually haven't got him a voice yet. Isn't that right? Like, is he gruffy? Okay. Or is he calm? Okay. I don't know yet. So that's just something I have to figure out. Isn't that right? Kichiman. So, tell me a little about yourself. Estokinokake emoyitape. Oh. Kate tsi boy. De tsi boy. Tsma kititopi. Niitsipowahsin X. Oh, interesting. Tsma Yeah. So sometimes at home when I'm alone, I have conversations with him. He tells me some interesting things. But one thing I do want to emphasize is that when we make mistakes, especially, and this is my message to Niitsipowahsin, such as myself, is find joy in making mistakes, because when we make people laugh as Niitsitapi, that's a good thing, right? We always enjoy making people laugh. One of the first things I've ever tried to say to some old women down south is I went up to them and I said, and I was trying to say, I'm a young man and I want to speak Blackfoot, right? And I said, Niitsipowahsin, Niitsipowahsin. And they all busted out laughing. And I said, what did I just say? And they said, your boyfriend speaks Blackfoot, huh? And, again, rather than be offended, I laughed and I said, well, now I know how to say that word, right? And it's really important to take that as a lesson. I remember a few times, too, listening to some younger people. They were trying to say, Nitumidam Anista, whatever their dog's name was, Nitumidam Anista Skippy, whatever. But they said, Nistu imita. And, the 8 I am meow. But again, and that little individual got scared, got offended. And I went up to them, I said, don't be offended. That was funny. You made you made a good joke. As Niitsitapi, again, we're a very humorous people. And sometimes we can't help but laugh when something is funny. And then I told him, the way you say my dog is Nitumitam. Nitumitam. So then the next day he said, Nitumita Anista. And again, the 8 laughed. And then again, I'm glad that individual persevered to understand those grammatical features of our language. And it's really critical, I believe. So one thing that I've been doing, and inspired by the work that I've been gathering from Niitsipowahsin for several years, and also studying the likes of Don Franz and Uhlenbeck. And one thing that they've done is they did create very lovely, valuable materials, but they made those materials for themselves, for Niitsipowahsin. And we need materials for Niitsitapi. We need Blackfoot linguistics, if you will. And as somebody who's been educated in the linguistic field, I do understand there's value in there. But again, one thing that really frustrated me when I was getting my degree is I had to measure the voice onset timing of a Blackfoot voiceless stop. And I did all the work, and I had to do a poster and all this stuff. And I had a conclusion, and I said, this work won't help anyone on the res. It's just a bunch of linguistic jargon. It's just a mouthful of words that that linguists get together and drink wine and eat cheese and talk about. And it benefits their academic career, and they get tenure. Whereas these little kids on the res are the ones that need that material. So with that linguistic background and growing up on the streets of Browning, I've been putting together things like this. And what you'll see is these, and this will make sense once we dive into it further. And again, I try real hard not to have hardcore linguistics in this program. And I've been doing this worksheet from everyone from 2nd grade to 12th grade. And I've even been doing it with our alternative high school. Kids who, for a lack of better description, have been failed by our educational institution and who are frustrated. Because there is a lot of students who get frustrated by learning Niitsipowahsin because they think that they can never learn it because they keep repeating those same things, counting to 10, colors, and then they've been convinced that they can't learn the language because they'll forget it. But you know, it's not their fault, and it's not the fault of anyone. This is the colonial world we live in, and we live in a sea of the English language. And what we need to do is just try to create materials so that they could live with Niitsipowahsin in the home. And that's one of the reasons why we, down south, why I'm creating these videos as well. So that every kid, every time I go to a restaurant, every kid is watching a tablet. And if they could watch something with our language on there, then hey, watch that tablet. But down here, again, we have number 1. So what they do is they see this red right here. And that's actually, let's do number 4 together. They see the red here. And then right here is a red line. So they go up here and they see that the OTT black, and then it ends with an M in red. And they go up here and they see OTT black, ends with M. It means his or her. So then they could put his or her, and then ohpos, right there in black. Right there, there's your black line. You go up here and you see cat. So then they conclude that otohposim is how you say his or her cat. So then again, if they know how to say his or her name is, then they could say, Gerald, otohposim anasta fluffy, eh? And these lessons are designed to grow the language so that it could be more comprehensive. So here we go to making nouns, if you will. Actually, no, let's not do that one. Let's do verbs. And again, it's so simple. And it's not designed to trick you. It's designed to guide you. And again, there's a lot of people say repetition, but the fancy word I like to use is recursion. You're constantly revisiting things. And that's what we do in our daily conversations. We constantly use the same words, that recursion going over and over. So right here, imitaokskase, you have a blue line and a red line, dog running. And then it would translate to a dog is running. And again, one thing though that I always emphasize to our teachers down south is to translate proper Blackfoot into proper English. Because again, you don't want them talking the Hollywood talk of it. You know, what does imitaokskase mean? It means dog running. You know, we want it to mean a dog is running. So we'll do number 3 together, this NITT. And you have this blue right here. So we'll go up and look at NITT, and it means I. So we'll put I. And then we got A, boy, right here. A, boy, speaking. So we put in speaking. And what it would translate to is I am speaking. Now, there are some difficulties when I come in around this because, again, as you know, in spoken Blackfoot, sometimes you just drop certain sounds off, eh? You don't say nitayok, you just say nitayok. So kind of explaining these linguistic rules without using linguistics is a challenge, but it's critical. Because one thing that these linguists won't share with us is to describe the grammatical nature of Niitsipowahsin. Linguists have borrowed terms from physics, like centripetal or centrifugal force, eh? And that's like in our verbs, such as in easy verbs, it says nitanista or nitanik. You know, nitanista, I told her, or titanik, she told me. Linguists use terms in physics to describe that grammar that's going on in Blackfoot. And here's the thing, a second grader who wants to learn Blackfoot shouldn't be burdened to have to learn physics. But and again, right here you have kitayok. So let's do this one together. You got K-I-T-T. We go up to our chart here. K-I-T-T means you. And then ayok. You go up here and it's red, right? And ayoka means sleeping. So we go sleeping, you sleeping. And we want to translate it to proper Blackfoot. Proper English. You are sleeping. And it's really foolproof. And I don't say foolproof as a disparaging term, just as much as like, again, as I've said, second graders have been taking this and rocking and rolling with it, and they usually get a 99% correct. That 1% of incorrect is usually due to error on my part in designing these. And then I've shared these in conferences before, but it's always worth sharing it again. Here's a names workout. And again, we have the one and only term that I encourage everybody to learn is the term morpheme. Not morpheme. Yeah, morpheme. Morphine is the stuff that makes you feel good. Morpheme. And really what that is in linguistic terms is just the smallest unit of sound that makes sense. So like the word dog is a morpheme. And then if you add an S at the end, that's 2 morphemes. Dogs. There's 2 parcels of sound in there that are giving you information. And that's the one word that I really encourage people to learn. But anyways, we have 99 names. And again, one thing that I really think is worth noting is, see, this document, it values Niitsipowahsin over English. When you are given this, all you see here is Niitsipowahsin. And then you become the person who translates it. You become your own elder, if you will. And I don't mean to say again, so let's just do we'll do number 21. This ni'ta is brown. So we go up here to the brown and we look up ni'ta. Oh, there it is. It means river. So you would know to put river down there. And then itapi is purple. We go up here. There's itapi means person. Ni'ta itapi, river person. And again, as I've said, second graders have been taking this and getting 100% correct. It's really fun. And it makes learning engaging, and they become the directors of their own learning experience. Because part of language is, like nishto, nitoni, nitawa nimata soke tsi poih, but nitoni nitawa I know what I'm saying when I say it. So das, nake tsi poih staka das poih sata ni tsi poih makitapiks. Years ago, one of the things that really gave me a lot of I would say confidence was years ago I ran into Nam Stosopo and Tsetanista okay Stosopo Tsanitapio. And then I Kite Tseniko. I said, Mama Nom Kshishiko Ma Pikani Niitsipowahsin. It's just joking. Action star. Niksi stahkoyis mame. It's a tapo mea niitta. Itumatapo mihkao. It's in no yema nenna watohkusem. Ohkia any niitta ma Amskaapipikani itanischo. Nina, binatsimatot ohki. Ini itsoyastaya. Nina apapisame. Nisto enog napikuan. Ni mato just be tich gitawani, matskini. Stamayap sa chip sakit. Umksipiksi. Pikani, asachikshak. Ki ayapi sa chip sachi. Oh, kako, simatot, keks, donat sokse poko. And then after I told that story, nam stoso puayemio. And it was then I was like, I could learn this language. It's possible. Because my whole life, I heard him and others, these other umakitapiks and kipitakiks, awani, Niitsipowahsin eh? And I took it to heart. But one thing that I think is critical is not just learning the Blackfoot language, but creating it and making it accessible to others. I will say I'm a very privileged person. I grew up in a home with both my parents, and I had a very privileged life. And with that privilege, I have a responsibility to give back to the community. And I had the silence in my life to be able to study Niitsipowahsin. I had the technology in my pocket to be able to record when people and go home and listen to it over and over and over and figure things out. As a matter of fact, in 2016, I believe, BCC got a grant, and it was to record certain people sitting in a circle and just conversating. And we recorded it in this very building in that elders room. I was contracted to take those videos and transcribe it. And I learned a lot through that. Unfortunately, the director of the program, the executive director of that grant, had left Browning. And so the project fell through. And I feel real sad about that. But I was able to learn a lot from it. But again, here we go, another thing. So this is an exercise on how to say, on top, underneath, in front, behind, or near. And one thing that I think is amazing is that my whole life, again, I heard Niitsipowahsin say English is backwards, And I always wondered, what does that mean? I don't understand that. As somebody who only spoke English, I couldn't wrap my head around that. But again, as time came forward and I was able to start learning Blackfoot, it started making sense. So right here we have a phrase, Nina itokitopi itesoyop. And then Nina means man, itesoyop means table. But then it's this verb right here, itokitopi. And right here I have two lines. And basically what I'm doing is I'm approaching translating Blackfoot the way that you would solve a math equation. Because I've heard it my whole life. Our language is very descriptive. Mathematics is very descriptive. And if we can use that same order of procedure to see how we come to our conclusion, then perhaps we can have people learning how to speak Blackfoot. So again, actually we'll just do this one together. Amskaapipikani. There we go. Amskaapipi's boy, and Isupats is his chair. We'll get that out of the way. And again, like sometimes as somebody who loves philosophy, I don't know how far we should get in translating things at certain times. Because Isupats, right, means like a flat sitting apparatus, right? Do we want them to translate it that every time, or just chair, eh? And that's kind of something I have to deal with in my own head. But right here we have ITT, and it's in purple, and we have a purple line right here. So we go up there, and it means there. In this exercise, we have apat. That's in blue. But again, the whole word is itapatopi. But apat right there, and we go to the blue, we find apat, and it means behind. So we put in behind. And then red is opio. We go here, and OPII is sitting. Okay. So when we translate it that way, we get a phrase that doesn't make sense in English. Boy there behind sitting chair. Okay? So what I've done is we have another row here of colors. And now these colors switch up a little bit. As we've said, English is backwards. But I want our students to see the word order of Blackfoot first. And that's black, so we'll put the boy there. And then see, now this next line is red. So we take sitting and we put it there, sitting. This next line is purple. We put there. The next line is blue, behind. And then we got brown, and we just take that and bring it down. Chair. So now we have boy sitting there behind chair. And by doing this, I actually started understanding our modern English even better, because a lot of us speak that way. Even us Niitsipowahsin, we speak that way. Because we'll be like, oh, right there, right on that corner there. That's where that garage sits, right there. And we have a lot of theirs and here's in our English, because we have a lot of theirs and here's in Niitsipowahsin. And so I would translate this to a boy is sitting behind a chair. Okay, let's go to another exercise. And it's that simple. And our students are getting this. Okay. Something that's really prominent in Blackfoot is when we translate Blackfoot to English is things are lost in translation. And it's kind of hard to describe that. But if we can get Niitsipowahsin to see where this loss is happening, then again, they'll be able to translate from English to Blackfoot potentially. So right here I have an exercise called commands and verbs, and it's all lost in translation. And right here we have a long explanation, lost in translation. I'm not going to read it all, but really what it is when we say, sit, we would translate that to run. But in English, there's no feature in the language to let the listener know that it's a command. They just kind of intuitively know. And then you can even get further with that and say, sit. And that's a plural command. And at times it's kind of hard to translate that because English is just a poor language when it comes to verbs. It's very impoverished because Blackfoot verbs are so rich. So how do we do that? And I believe there is a way. So right here we'll go through this example of these four. We have nitokskas. You go I running, I am running. Gitokskas, you running, translates to you are running. Okskasit, run. Singular command, and we have one exclamation mark. So when we translate this to English, we want that exclamation mark to remain. Because right there, you're letting the reader know that something was lost in translation. And then okskasik, it's simple. Rather than one exclamation mark, we have two. So let's do one together. I think we can. I can't type on this document, but we go boyit. And I know that this is very elementary Blackfoot, but for a Niitsipowahsin, it's a lot. Trust me. As somebody who again, nimata okay boy, but nitayi ka kem nake boy skinek shiko. So I, poye, they'll look at the I, poye in red, they'll come up here. Oh, right there. A, poye means speaking. So they'll put speaking right there, and then they'll put the T. It's purple. They go up here. It means singular command. And then eventually they would know how to, that means speak, and they would put an exclamation mark. Now, admittingly, this next thing I'm going to show makes it extremely difficult at times. And the reason why is because the Blackfoot verb is so rich. So when we just examine just the simple word for love, right? In English, the word love is so dull. It's a 4-letter word. There's other 4-letter words in English that are more fun to say. But see, Blackfoot, the word love changes depending on who you're talking about, how many people you're talking about. Is this thing sentient or is it not, right? I'd say nitsigako me ma nitan, nitsigako me ma ya nitanix. But I'd say nitsigako mi chip, nits chimokan, right? That word changes because the love that I have for my hat is different than the love I have for my daughter. But I digress. So what's going on right here is this purple at the end of this verb is letting the listener know the direction of this verb. Now this is something that I've saw that, I mean, at least not yet. I can't give this to second graders, but I could give it to middle school students and they'll get it. And we'll have a process of elimination to understand these. So what's going on here is I saying to man. And again, these arrows here, when you translate, it's letting you know that this particular phrase needs to be read from left to right. And you would translates directly to I am saying to the man. But when I say nitanik, ninna, again, that word order in English stays the same. But see this purple here, it's being translated to these arrows. And again, that's letting people know that this phrase right here needs to be read from from right to left. So you would read it as man saying to me. And again, for us Niitsipowahsin, this has been pretty helpful. So again, we can look at Niitsipowahsin, Ninna. And again, we would translate to I pity man. We read it from left to right to meaning I pity the man. But if I say aki, we would read that from right to left as the woman pities me. And again, what's going on, these arrows are there's a part in the Blackfoot verb that's being lost in translation. And what this does, again, like that, you see that standard order of procedure so that people can see when it's lost in translation and where, and how to regain it when we go from English to Blackfoot, which is really critical because people want to know how to translate English to Blackfoot. And the beautiful thing about these worksheets that we've been doing is, again, it's designed. One thing, though, I just want to say is I don't believe in grading our students, but I do believe in assessing them. Where are they at? And when we know where they're at, we can provide them with more tools to send them on their way. But this is designed where the student would keep this in their own personal files, and they would only turn in the work. And then the teacher could assess them and let them know, and then when we know where and when they're struggling, we can provide them more tools to build them up rather than to knock them down. But okay. Is there any questions, comments, or complaints?
You know, when you're talking about your cat, and when I when my father goes in and turns and when he say the colors, let's say both a black hair, that makes an not and not. Then say 16 and then what about that door? 16 not big. Same table over there and let's get with it's all my name. And me, it's say, you know, that's how I describe it. But I do not, I teach important mistakes. I spend a lot of time on the stuff, and then I teach them for nice. Then I add conversations. But I found that I don't describe with what's the type. Only way they did it. But the room is clicking range. I for me it's but I don't describe that. My friends there's a matrix right now. So that's what I found. And I found that when I say like that when they're like suicide teach themselves. And I say, okay, what do you feel for manage the way this out? What do you hear? So when you said the guy and we say, don't just start I had this write it the way you say it sounds E-A-G-A, the dog. Because they need to keep place. That's for me in sport, college, high school, going for it was little cowboy and in the sun, penny letters, the HK, then he has all way to the log way to say, you say, when people are talking, does this mean? And now, but this mirror would say, stand the closest. And so that's the thing. That's what they invite certain nearby airways. They teach them these verbal. That's how I heard. I heard about sorry people. I saw them as a God is how this make them done. Yama. It's, you know, the words. So that's how I teach it. And it works for news. You know that the rules I read it for great essentially it's they have to learn all this. So you know the words and then put the words together and learn. It's like things in the culture. Tell me about you. They'll say, about you. It's that. It's okay. It's very personal. It's like what you say, math, it's right if I speak. That say what I want to say sometimes too. It's like right because it's so here. That's what I teach that teach and so the ones that you have that's not like you like you college girls like that's this the knows why you sticks out the number. They don't have SKS, but they have escape. So it has a space highlight. I thought you
Yeah, for what it's worth, yeah, it's very difficult to get again as a mate tsi, boy. English was my first and only language for a while. And in English, we don't have a differentiation between animate and inanimate. So there were certain aspects of that were really hard to understand at first. And as you said, you know, oma kyayo siksinam and oma kitsim siksinatsi. We're still trying to work with the students to like think I'd say pikani skatakit, eh? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Jeez, oh, oh, no, patsokemos, kisto. Tskachtaiki, tich. Yeah. And then again, it's worth mentioning too when Lily Gladstone came out with her film. When it was coming out, I messaged her saying, this movie's gonna really put you on the map, and it's gonna put Niitsipowahsin on the centerfold, on a stage in front of millions of people. I said, you better remember your Blackfoot language. And she did. And it's worth mentioning that it was Edward North Pagan who taught her a lot of the language she knows. And then I just told her, I'm here for support. And then obviously the Confederacy supports her in many ways. And yeah, it was a very wonderful moment for the Confederacy, I think. But thank you for those comments. Any complaints? Oh, that's nice. I always end it by teaching students a little bit of Amskaapipikani, right? And I always say this right here, sukapi. So go ahead, do it with me. Sukapi. Sukapi. Come on, sukapi. And then this is makapio. But sukapi. And then again, I always say point with your thumb because it's gentle. So everybody point. Everybody point at me. Go like this. Everybody do this. Go like, point at me. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay. Gen me asak what's. Huh? Okay. Now where's my distro?
Well, Robert, on behalf of the Niitsipowahsin committee, we want to gift you this, and thank you for always bringing that good energy and the spreading the good message of the importance of our language. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Arnold, for inviting me out here. What's the next step? Just kidding. So Oki, ni dani ko gaki depoi, ni dumukto to amim siksiga. Hello, everybody. My name is Chaz. My slave name is Chaz Prairie Chicken. I come from the Siksiga Nation, but I reside in Calgary. So today's presentation is an innovative language revival through VR, virtual reality. So Thunder VR and a few others that I'll talk about throughout this presentation. But first off, a little bit about USAY, the Urban Society for Aboriginal Youth. It is an Indigenous-led organization that supports Indigenous youth living in the city of Calgary between the ages of 12 to 29 years old. Although the majority of high school aged are high school aged or recent graduates, we have three main focuses: successful transitions to adulthood, social inclusion, and healing. We have a variety of programs that range greatly in activities. Today's presentation will focus on our Blackfoot language learning programs. So we have a variety of programming, as you can see on the screen there. And our technology side, a few of those are the New Tribe magazines, which I have brought with me today. I ended up grabbing the wrong box. I was supposed to bring the Blackfoot graphic novels. But if any of you are interested in receiving a box of these Blackfoot graphic novels or our New Tribe magazines, you can just reach out to me and we can mail some out to you, whether you're in schools or you just want to have access to them to just read along. They're great assets for teaching the Blackfoot language. So our Blackfoot language learning programs, USAY has 4 different programs that focus on Blackfoot language learning, and they include our Blackfoot graphic novel, Blackfoot learning guide, Indigimap, and Thunder VR. Our Blackfoot graphic novel aims to include Blackfoot language into a fun and interactive printed medium. There have been 12 volumes of the graphic novels, and USAY is currently working on the next iteration. Historically, the graphic novels were accompanied by animation and behind-the-scenes documentary. You can find all of those animations and videos on our YouTube channel at USAY Calgary. The most recent graphic novels, from Finding Victor to This Is Our Land and Last Hunters, uses augmented reality. The newest version of our augmented reality in the graphic novels has the inclusion of mini games that you can access for free through most devices. All of our novels and subsequent comics utilize code switching for language learning. Sorry, my screen is a little bit dim because I'm trying to save my battery. Finding Victor is a virtual reality game that is an escape room. Initially inspired by USAY's Unlocking Homelessness, the game encourages people to reach out and ask for help before they get into a crisis situation. The virtual reality game then inspired the Blackfoot graphic novel that encourages the same message while including language learning and identity building. This graphic novel was the first time that USAY leaned into some augmented reality components. Although not fully animated with AR, it was the first way we leaned into the idea of language and technology. So I'm going to try and, because I got to use the sound here. Hold on. So this is just a little video on the VR game itself. Oh, maybe it doesn't want to work. Well, that's okay. We'll have the opportunity for you guys to check it out back there. This Is Our Land is USAY's first move from the graphic novel format to more of a comic book style project. It also fully embodies the use of target-based augmented reality by scanning the pages using the IndigiPrints app. Readers can see the pages become animated and hear the language. This comic book also incorporates 3 mini games, which builds on the learning with testing people's level of language learning. Working with a linguist and fluent Blackfoot speakers, USAY was able to break the words down into easy components to teach more comprehensive language learning amongst beginners. The Last Hunters is a sequel to This Is Our Land and follows the same characters on their language and tradition learning mission. The format is very similar, using code switching to embed language with context, and then creating learning with pronunciation and listening with the augmented reality animation utilizing the app. This also includes mini games for additional learning material and tests the augmented reality to be truly engaging with techniques and capabilities to create immersive experiences. The Blackfoot language is not written. Therefore, it is important to learn pronunciation and oral tradition. To support the Blackfoot language learning at USAY, we have created a brief and short tutorial to learning guide, which is also can be found on our YouTube at USAY Calgary. It is important to know there are different regional dialects and various versions. It is important to always learn from fluent speakers from those communities. We embedded this basic learning guide to all of our language projects as a basic foundational tool. It is a good example of how you can utilize video as a tool to support language learning and embed content into projects. Indigimap is a digital board game. USAY uses surface tracking on your device to lay down a virtual turtle island. You navigate around the space with a guide to learn Indigenous languages from across Canada. You can learn how to introduce yourself, acknowledge the land, sing a song, and very common words. The app is free and has been available since April 30th of 2022. The first launch of this app included 12 languages with an additional 6 added at the end of 2022. USAY offers demonstrations with our iPads and other devices if you're interested in learning more about this upcoming project. So Thunder VR, which is one we're going to be showcasing today, is based on USAY's Blackfoot graphic novel. The story is about the Thunder Pipe ceremony and why it is important. The graphic novel combined with the virtual reality game allows people to learn Blackfoot words and a traditional Indigenous story, while also being a lot of fun. And so the reason why we chose VR is it's the new frontier of authentic Indigenous storytelling. Its immersive experiences can create long-term engagement, embracing the Oculus Go and the Oculus Quest, and anything else that they introduce moving forward. And also, it's been known as the empathy machine. So there's just a little demo, but again, the volume is being weird. So yeah, again, we do offer demonstrations at the back over there if you guys, if any of you are interested. I know I'm supposed to appear for a full hour, but I guess I kind of zoomed through that. But we do have our New Tribe magazines with us, which I can also demonstrate on my phone. And again, every app that we have created in all our VR games are free to download on Google Play or the App Store. And yeah, I guess that concludes my presentation. Are we doing questions? So I will open up the floor to questions if you guys have any. But if you don't, that's totally okay.
Testing. Oh, yeah. I just wanted to ask, what was the app called?
The for the Turtle Island game.
Well, like you said, it's on Play Store.
Yeah, so we have there's Indigi Prints, which is going to allow for our reading material to kind of come to life for you, even the Blackfoot graphic novels. We also have Indigi Maps, Indigi Map, Indigi Worlds, and Indigi Trails. And that's Indigi Trails is more so of like we have a variety of locations throughout Calgary, and it's kind of like a virtual art gallery. And so, like for example, you'll go to Princess Island Park, and when you open up the app, it'll open up your camera, and you'll be able to walk through the park and see a bunch of art pieces. And that specific location is based around truth and reconciliation.
So it's just like Pokemon Go.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, that's a good example.
Wait, what was it called?
Which one? Indigi Prints?
Oh, Indigi Prints.
Yeah, if you just go on our website and then you look under AR, VR, all our apps will be there for you.
Okay, thank you.
Any more? No? Okay. Yeah, again, we're going to be back there if you guys want to come and test out our Blackfoot virtual reality game. And then I can also give you some free reading material of our New Tribe magazine. Thank you.